Well, hello, my name is Melissa Doyle and welcome to Radiothon 2020. Radiothon, as you know, is the annual Sydney Children's Hospitals Foundation's fundraising appeal for the Children's Hospital at Westmead, and it's a little bit different this year. As you can tell, for the first time we are going virtual. Our theme for Radiothon is storytelling. So for the next 90 minutes, join us as we share stories from hospital staff, patients, families and supporters, and feature some very special guests. Now, Radiothon officially kicked off this morning at 6 o'clock, and until 6 p.m. tonight, every donation will be doubled by our generous donor matches. That means your donation will make twice the impact for sick kids. We are raising funds for equipment, research and vital services for the 80,000 patients that rely on the Children's Hospital at Westmead every year. So, to donate, call 1-800-770-122 or you can head to our website, radiothon.org.au. We are hoping to raise $1 million for sick kids, and donations of $50 or more will automatically go into a draw to win a complete set of 24 little treehouse books signed by the author Andy Griffiths. That is a totally awesome prize. Christmas is sorted, and Andy himself is actually joining us later in the show for a very special book reading. So sit back and relax as we begin Radiothon 2020. And our first guest is 7-year-old Hugo and his parents Gosha and Luke. Now, Hugo is this year's Radiothon ambassador, and I met the family earlier in the week to talk about their journey into the hospital. Can you tell me, Gosha, a little bit about your journey and how you guys came to be at Westmead Children's Hospital?
Well, it's been quite an ordeal. Almost a year ago, Hugo was at the school walkathon, and he was charging around the course, done something like 20 laps, going crazy, having a great time.
Actually, I did 30 laps.
Oh, 30, correction. 30 laps. Exactly. So he was feeling great. And they paused to have a recess break. And suddenly his friend said, "Oh, Hugo made a bit of a grunting noise." And they turned around and he fell over and started having a seizure in front of his classmates. And then it was just a whirlwind, to emergency, CT scans, unfortunately another seizure. And it wasn't until an MRI that we found out that Hugo had unfortunately suffered a stroke. So Hugo was then in a coma for 3.5 days while we're trying to keep him stable and find where the clot was and get rid of the clot. And then it became a very, very, very long journey of recovery and rehab. He lost his whole right side movement and he lost his speech as well. So you can imagine how traumatic he was for all of us at this time. Yeah, it upsets him a little bit to hear about it.
Let's focus on some of the good things that came out of it. Luke, can you explain for me, I guess, the relationship that you would form with the hospital, with staff, with all of the people that you're coming into contact with every single day?
Yes, I guess it's exactly right. You never imagine or you never actually think about it. How would that be? Because why would you? But when you find yourself there in the hospital, I could not be happier in if that's the word to use, because it's been just the most amazing journey when it comes to people that you meet, the people that work there and their passion for it and their help and the sympathy that you get, and you feel you by yourself left somewhere there, but then actually suddenly people appear from everywhere, and whether that's a hospital staff or your friends that come to visit or anyone and everyone. It's just been amazing.
Hello, my name is Nicola Stokes and I'm the CEO of Sydney Children's Hospitals Foundation. Thank you for joining us today for our first ever virtual Radiothon. These challenging times with COVID-19 are impacting all of us in so many ways, so I do hope that you and your family are well. To ensure the safety of hospital staff, patients, families and our local community, unfortunately you can't be with us here today, but I want you to know that your support and ongoing commitment to the hospital, particularly at this time, is deeply appreciated. The next 90 minutes will showcase why Radiothon remains as important as ever. We'll be sharing stories from our generous community, our passionate staff, our inspiring patients, our resilient parents, and our selfless carers. Every year, your support makes such a huge difference to the more than 80,000 children who rely on Children's Hospital at Westmead, and for that we are eternally grateful. So I'm sure that you will be thrilled to know that until 6 p.m. tonight, all donations will be matched. That means that your donation will have double the impact. So please donate now by calling 1-800-770-122 or head to radiothon.org.au. And we hope you really enjoy our virtual Radiothon 2020.
If I could reach the stars, pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth that this light inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams. If I can change the world, I will be your sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world. If I could be king, even for a day, I'd take you as my queen. I'd have it no other way. And our love would rule in this kingdom we have made. Till then I'll be a fool, wishing for a day that I can change the world. I would be a sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good, baby, if I could change the world, baby, if I could change the world, baby, if I could change the world.
Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny. That is Johnny Ruffo. Now let's take a look at our tally so far, and a huge thank you to everyone for all of your support. We really appreciate it. Remember, every donation until 6 p.m. tonight will be doubled by our wonderful donor matches. So if you want to donate, call 1-800-770-122, or you can head to radiothon.org.au. And don't forget that all donations of $50 or more will automatically go into the draw to win a complete set of 24 little treehouse books, all signed by author Andy Griffiths. And a big thank you to our Radiothon sponsor, Homeworld, who's been supporting the Children's Hospital at Westmead ever since 2015. So thank you. We really appreciate your support today.
Hello, my name is Philip Jones and I'm the CEO of the Homeworld Group of Companies. Homeworld has proudly sponsored the Radiothon for the Children's Hospital at Westmead for 5 years now. Over the years of my involvement with the Children's Hospital, I've been told many stories of families seeking assistance. It's a wonderful medical system that we provide in this state. It's very important to us at Homeworld to support the Children's Hospital at Westmead in order to raise the funds needed for the much needed research and the ancillary equipment that makes the hospital an exceptional experience.
Now, throughout this 90-minute online show, you will meet various patients and family and staff members who are the heart of this hospital. So let me introduce you now to Pamela Bold, who is the Nurse Unit Manager of Variety Ward at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. Pamela has worked at the hospital for 15 years and she manages a team of nurses who specialise in caring for children with infectious diseases. I caught up with Pamela earlier this week to chat about her role. First up, tell me, who are your patients in Variety Ward?
So currently Variety Ward is the hospital's dedicated COVID ward, so we specialise in infectious diseases. So we're still seeing a certain amount of oncology patients who would not have normally presented up here to Variety Ward, and we're also seeing patients who have other infectious diseases. So we've got our very specialised nursing and medical staff who are paediatric trained, looking after children and babies.
So you're actually trying to manage everything that you normally would do, plus bringing in patients who are showing symptoms from this pandemic.
Yep, that's what we're doing at the moment.
How vital is fundraising for Westmead Children's Hospital?
So fundraising is absolutely vital. Not everything can fit under, obviously, the hospital budget. Equipment is very expensive. And it's really important for us to have certain equipment, particularly the beds, the back to base monitors. They don't replace nursing staff actually going in and doing assessments, but they really add that that safety net so that the patients can be monitored while we're not in the room with them. And technology, it's always changing, and there's always extra additional costs and all that sort of thing to it. So
wow. And tell me a little bit about some of the patients and families that would come through, because as we know, it's a very, very special and important place.
So over my years of nursing, I've met I've met a lot of families who have come through, and I think importantly, for us as nursing and medical staff that work here and allied health staff, it's about making the families and the patients feel safe.
Doing a remarkable job. Please give everyone our love and support, and while you're looking after kids and saving their lives, we'll do everything we can to raise more money to make sure that can continue. So thanks so much, Pam.
Thank you.
Elma's 6 years old, and she was diagnosed with a brain tumor in April 2019.
In March last year, I suddenly just noticed that Alma was putting on her clothes and not using her right arm. And then I asked her, "But why don't you use your right arm?" And she said, "I forget I have it." And then I knew that was not normal. The initial scan on the 10th showed this very large brain tumor, but it also showed that it was located in the thalamus region, which is a very deep-seated area of the brain. It's very close, or part of the brainstem. So we just had to pray that it was not the malignant type that could be treated with chemotherapy, because that will be our only option.
3-4 days after the operations, we got the answer, having told there was a benign tumor, and that would obviously increase the chances of treatment significantly. Elma's been responding amazingly well to the medicine. From the beginning, she's had this mindset of constructive and fighting and just being positive as well. Through this, Elma's become our biggest inspiration. On her way back from hospital once, she made up a song in the back of the car on how she wanted to fight the needle and be strong, right? You just got to be impressed with that. You can run around with all your challenges in your life and in your
coping strategies.
Yeah, it's just impressive. And
in the beginning you want to protect your child from this information, but They did such a good job, and we learned so much from them how to handle situations like that.
They were able to still talk to her, to also respect that and find a way of connecting with her. And now it's such a comfortable place for her to go. And she loves her doctor, Dr. Jeff, and I think that has been amazing, because that hospital, that center and that area has become so important for us as a family to get through this. Your life is ripped from under you, your situation, your future, everything is different, and the importance of having places like this, it's hard to even put words on, because I think what it's done for us is
make us feel normal.
Hi, my name is Barry Wilson. I'm the president of the Seven Hills RSL Club Group, and it gives me great pleasure to once again be part of the Bandage Bear Radiothon here at Westmead Children's Hospital. Seven Hills RSL Club has enjoyed a long-standing association with the Children's Hospital here at Westmead. Over the years, since 2013, we have donated $590,000 for purchase of equipment, life-saving equipment for the kids here at the hospital. It gives me great pleasure again to be involved with the Radiothon here at Westmead Children's Hospital. On behalf of our members, our board, our staff and management, we'd like to donate a further $60,290 so they can purchase more equipment to save the lives of young children. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all the healthcare workers for their marvellous work and what they're doing over such difficult times. This pandemic has affected everyone, but you have tirelessly worked through all this, and you've been amazing. It takes a different type of person to do what you people do. And in that, the Seven Hills RSL Club would like to thank you, and staff, and everyone there at Westmead Hospital for the marvellous work you have done.
Well, thank you to Seven Hills Toongabbie RSL for supporting Radiothon. They've been giving since 1994, so we really appreciate all of your support. It is invaluable. It means the world to everybody at the hospital, all the patients and the families. So a big thank you to everyone at Seven Hills Toongabbie RSL. So remember, all donations are being doubled until 6 o'clock tonight, so please do dig deep and give as much as you can. We're hoping to raise $1 million for sick kids. So to donate, the number you need is 1800 770 122, or you can head to radiothon.org.au. Now, next, I'd like you to meet Dr. Wendy Gold. Now, Wendy is a senior researcher at Kids Research, and she specialises in Rett syndrome. It's a genetic disorder and it's only found in females. I chatted to Wendy about her dedication to Rett syndrome research and the progress that she has made in the last 10 years. Wendy, you've been researching Rett syndrome for a very long time. First of all, tell us what Rett syndrome is.
Rett syndrome is a devastating neurodevelopmental disorder. And what we mean by neurodevelopmental disorder is something goes wrong during the normal development of the child. It's also very rare. So there are about 450 children that have Rett syndrome in Australia, and there are about 350,000 worldwide. So it's a very rare disorder. Girls with Rett have significant physical and mental disabilities. They can't walk, or they need to be helped to walk. They can't talk, and they're known as silent angels.
So one of the things that I think those that are watching now might be surprised to learn is the extent of research that is being conducted at Westmead Children's Hospital into so many different diseases and syndromes. Can you give us an idea of just how much is underway and the difference that this is making in the treatment of children?
Oh, absolutely. The research arm of the Children's Hospital at Westmead is called Kids Research, and we have got national and world-leading researchers that are focused on developing therapies, cures and understanding disorders, pediatric disorders. And we've got lots of dedicated clinicians as well based in the hospital that interface with the researchers so that we have this great connection between what is needed and what can be done. And of course, this is reliant on a lot of money, a lot of funding to keep it going. And that's why Radiothon is so important. May I just say that we are lucky to have been the recipient of a donation from Yield Broker. They provided a substantial amount of money to us last year. And without their money, their donation, we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we have this year. And thankfully, this year, we will be the recipient of some of their donations as well. And without this, we generally wouldn't be able to get as far as we have. The funding from Radiothon is transformative. And so money from Radiothon allows us to keep moving forward using these advanced technologies.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, the whole world is holding its breath that someone's going to find a vaccine for COVID-19, which means that everybody's attention is focused on the incredible work of scientists, of researchers. Never before have we been, I think, recognising so hard what you do and how important it is. So may this opportunity shed a light on it and keep going with your extraordinary work. We are so grateful that you do it.
Yeah, pleasure. Lovely to chat to you. Thanks so much, Mel.
And a big shout out to one of our matches today, Yield Broker. Yield Broker actively raises funds for research into areas of Rett syndrome and neurofibromatosis. So thanks again, Yield Broker, for matching our donations today. We couldn't do it without you. It's very, very special. Thank you.
My name is Raylene and I'm Holly's mum. So Holly has Rett syndrome and she was diagnosed just after her 3rd birthday. She was first diagnosed with autism when she was 2 and then a year later they did some more tests and they found out there was actually Rett syndrome. So Rett syndrome is a degenerative condition, so Holly will most likely get worse as time goes on. She will most likely never walk or talk. We do a lot of therapy. We do like 3 physical therapy sessions a week. We do a speech therapy session once a fortnight. And it's a lot of work for her and she may never really get to the point where, or it's unlikely that she will get to the point where she can walk independently. But if you want to keep off scoliosis and hip issues, you need to keep doing the therapy anyway. And there's a Rett clinic out at the Children's Hospital run by Dr. Carolyn Alloway. And it's great. They've got a paediatrician there, they've got a dietitian, a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, a music therapist, a dentist. So you kind of get to see everyone in the one go. So that's really helpful. So Wendy has been researching Rett syndrome and looking for a cure for the past 9 to 10 years. And we've just been trying to help her get the money that she needs so that she can find a cure for our little angel. Holly can't dress herself, she can't feed herself, she can't clean her teeth, she can't do anything for herself. She needs help with everything and Wendy is going to give an opportunity that one day she may be able to walk and talk like all the other little kids.
From all of us here at Sunrise, we want to say a big hello to everyone tuning in to Radiothon 2020.
A special hello to all the patients and families there at the hospital. We're thinking of you all. I hope everyone at home has enjoyed all the stories being shared so far. The hospital is truly a special place.
Now, don't forget the donations are doubled until 6 p.m. tonight, so please dig deep and support the Radiothon appeal.
Yeah, help us reach our goal of $1 million. Donate now by calling 1-800-770-122 or head to radiothon.org.au.
My name is Joshua Burns. I'm the Director of the Paediatric Gait Analysis Service of New South Wales.
My name is Anita Mudge and I'm a physiotherapist with the Paediatric Gait Analysis Service of New South Wales.
So the Gait Lab is a fully instrumented room which helps us understand how children walk, because many kids have problems with walking. We see many types of conditions in the Gait Lab. We see children with nerve, muscle and brain disorders mostly, such as cerebral palsy, inherited neuropathies and muscular dystrophies. So far we've seen over 600 children with these conditions.
Gait analysis is really important for helping doctors inform their decision making around interventions. Most of the children we see here are having some sort of complex surgery like multi-level orthopaedic surgery or selective dorsal rhizotomy. What gait analysis does is it gives very detailed information on the movements that are happening in all of their lower limb joints as they're walking. Speed at which movements are happening is faster than we can see with our eyes and process with our brains. So we can't possibly take in all of that information. And what three-dimensional gait analysis does is it breaks it all down and it gives us graphs that show us what's happening at each joint and in each plane of movement. So fundraising has allowed us to purchase different items of equipment. For example, we've got a walkway that a child can walk along, and we can get a large amount of data about how fast they're walking, how big their stride lengths are, how well they're walking, weight bearing on one side compared to the other. And some of these things we've relied on fundraising to buy this equipment, and it's really important because not every child can have 3D gait analysis.
Fundraising is critically important for the Gait Lab because with additional funds we can see more patients, help more patients, see them sooner and do a better job. It's really important that we have support from the community to help as many patients as possible.
Now let's check out our tally. Look at that. Oh my gosh, big round of applause. Everyone at home, everybody in here. Amazing achievement so far. So let's keep those donations coming in, please. Every donation until 6 o'clock tonight will be doubled by our wonderful matches. So to donate, call 1-800-770-122 or you can head to radiothon.org.au. Don't forget, all donations, $50 or more, will automatically go into the draw to win a complete set of 24 little treehouse books signed by author Andy Griffiths. And we're going to talk to Andy a little bit later on in the program. Now, imagine being a registered nurse. In your first year, you are thrown into the deep end of a global pandemic. Well, that is exactly what happened to Matthew, who is a nurse in the emergency department at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. I spoke to Matthew a few days ago and I asked him about the challenges he's faced and what he's enjoying most about his role.
So if ever you could pick a year to have as your first, you got 2020. Just run us through some of the extra challenges that the last 6 months have brought.
Absolutely. Well, I got into nursing because I wanted to work within a fast-paced, challenging environment such as an emergency department with acutely unwell patients. The last 6 months have definitely been an interesting one. I started here sort of in the height of lockdown. We've had to be very careful within the emergency department as well, because for a lot of the patients who come in, we are the, front line. We are the first point of contact within the hospital for some acutely unwell patients. So it's definitely encouraged all of us to be on our toes and be, I think, a little bit more vigilant regarding, what's going on at the moment.
I'm sure it can be bittersweet at times, but tell me about some of the kids that you've met. Have there been any ones in particular that have just reached out and touched you, that you've really been impacted by?
It's the ones that I learned from, and it's not necessarily clinical learnings, but more so, I think learning the softer side of nursing and working with children has been probably one of the best things that I've experienced so far. Being able to settle that crying infant, or, cheer up that sick child, make them smile after they've been crying and unsettled for, however long, giving the parents a bit of a break. I think that's been the ones that have really sort of touched me.
Well, I have no doubt that you're the cool nurse that all the kids would want to come and chat, and hopefully may St. George do well for you, and that would make it a little easier to have conversations with some kids, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Got your jumper on, awesome. Thank you, Matthew, to you and all of the staff, and particularly in the emergency department, because we can only begin to imagine how flat out everybody has been. I know it's been a really intense time, so thank you so much for everything that you do.
Oh, thank you very much, Mel. As I said, it's definitely a team effort.
Too humble. Take care.
You too. Bye.
So Jacob is 4 years old and we first came to Westmead in April 2019. Jacob had a virus which attacked his spine and it's left him with a permanent spinal cord injury which has left his left arm completely paralysed and also his diaphragm. One day he just woke up and it was just like a normal morning. It was actually Dad's birthday and Jacob got Dad this really big Nerf gun and he wasn't able to pick the Nerf gun up and we were just like, Jake, you got to use both your hands. And he was just like, oh, I can't. And we're like, what do you mean you can't? And he's just like, my arm doesn't work anymore. Dad knew straight away that something wasn't right, so we took him to our local hospital and they did an MRI where they found swelling on about a quarter of his spine and sent us straight up to Westmead Children's Hospital. And we're really glad that they did because within 5 days he was rushed into ICU and had to be intubated.
I struggled with seeing him in ICU. It was very hard because it's your little boy and it's just, there's nothing you can do. They couldn't tell us if he was going to pull through or not.
Jacob spent 64 days in ICU. The first 4 or 5 weeks were pretty rough, where he was on a ventilator 24/7, so he was restricted with his movement. But I think once the tracheostomy was put in and we started to see that heal and he got the okay that he could move around again, it was just no stopping him. He had to learn how to walk again, and as soon as he took his first steps, he was like, don't touch me, I don't need help, I can do it on my own.
We were getting time frames of when he was coming off the nose, time frames of when he should start to walk again, and he was knocking them out of the park in days, not weeks. So I think a lot of credit has to just go to Jacob and his mindset. The 3 months that we were here has been the hardest time for our entire family, but to walk away from that and have mostly good memories, I think says a lot about the spirit of Westmead Children's Hospital. We are so grateful to every single person who has been involved with Jacob's case because they've saved our little boy's life and they've really gone out of their way to make Jacob feel like a normal little 3-4-year-old boy rather than a sick child.
Thank you. Physio and nurses for making me strong, and I'm so strong. And I'm super fast today. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Hello everyone, Kylie and Larry here from The Morning Show. We want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has supported Radiothon 2020 today.
Yeah, great stuff, Kyles. And also a special hello to all the patients and families there in hospital. We are thinking of you all.
Now, all funds raised today will go towards the purchase of the very latest equipment, life-saving research and vital services for patients and their families. So please dig deep.
Yeah, make sure you do. Every dollar counts. And don't forget the donations are doubled until 6 p.m. tonight. Just call 1800 770 122.
Or you can head to www.radiothon.org.au. Thank you.
Well, I hope everyone is enjoying our first ever virtual Radiothon event so far. Now, I've got some very special thank yous tonight. Costco are matching our donations today. Costco has supported the Children's Hospital at Westmead since 2013. You have been amazing. Your generosity is truly appreciated. And to Mitsubishi Electric for your generous donation today. Truly appreciated. Couldn't do any of this without all of our sponsors. Now, if you have just tuned in, welcome to the Children's Hospital at Westmead's Radiothon Appeal. It's looking a little bit different this year, but we're showcasing a wide variety of patient and staff stories, all to raise money for the hospital. And our goal today is $1 million. That will go towards equipment, research and vital services for the sick kids who rely on the hospital every year. As you can see, it is looking very different but very cool online for the first time ever. The pandemic has affected so many people this year in so many ways. So spare a thought for Catherine McCudden. Catherine is the acting nurse unit manager of the COVID assessment clinic at the hospital. Now, the clinic was set up back in March, and on average, Catherine's team carries out between 150 and 250 tests every single day.
I know that the COVID assessment clinic was established back in March. Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, imagine that you would be running such a clinic doing this?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, did we ever think we'd be in this situation in the first place? Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would live to see a pandemic, number one, but number two, then be seconded to manage a COVID clinic. So no, never thought this would occur.
Yeah. So tell me what that involves, managing a COVID clinic. How busy for a start have you guys been?
Yeah, so pretty busy. I think because being a children's hospital, then, you know, everybody who has a child that obviously wants to have a COVID test just assume that here would be the best place to come. So when you think that there's only 2 children's hospitals in New South Wales and there's lots and lots of kids in New South Wales, then it does get really, really busy. And we do have a really good dynamic group in the COVID clinic. Like they really do, the nurses do understand what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve.
Radiothon, as we all know, is very, very important to the Children's Hospital. Can you give us an idea of the difference it makes?
Oh, definitely. Like, I think, you know, and I mean, it's unfortunate we can't run Radiothon as we normally would, you know, of course, but because of COVID. But it definitely, you know, Radio Vibe is, when it is on, there's a different vibe in the hospital, like a fun vibe, and we know that all the funds go to helping with critical care, with research, like with education. Like, it's not just here's some money for the hospital, here you go. It really does get dispersed everywhere, with the number one goal being to provide services for the children for New South Wales. So, which is great. As we said, there's not many children's hospitals in New South Wales. So yeah, absolutely, the funds are vital. And as we know, with health rapidly changing all the time, there's always new equipment to buy, there's always new medication, you know, and obviously that needs to be funded. So yeah. It's a great cause.
Yeah, well, may this pandemic end very soon, but in the meantime, what you and all your staff are doing there in the COVID assessment clinic is truly remarkable, Kath. So please thank them from all of us.
I definitely will. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey kids, it's Firefighter Maxwell here from City of Sydney Fire Station. We're the busiest fire station in Australia. We get up to 9,500 calls a year. We have up to 200 staff here. We have 5 trucks. We're gonna have a bit of fun. We're sorry that we can't be there today. However, we thought we'll bring the fire station to you. Hope you all enjoy it. Let's take a look and see what the crew are up to.
Hi kids, from the fire crew.
Hi kids, hope you're feeling better. For the fire crew, I'm sorry we can't be there. We are thinking of you, so stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Hey kids, to running crew. Hi kids.
All the best from the rescue crew at City of Sydney.
This is our flyer, this is our runner. These are our 2 busiest trucks. We can get up to 20 to 30 calls in a 24-hour shift. And these are our first trucks to respond out of the door if there's a fire or if there's an incident in the city.
So I'm motor driver of the runner today. I'm going to show you a few things that we have in the cabin. Steering wheel, we've got our light panel and our siren panel here. So you can see the lights outside. Turn the siren on. We've got our radios. We've got our NDT here for our boss. There you can see the incidents and stuff like that. Fire comms, runner 1 red.
If we move to the back of the appliance now, you'll see that the firefighters are doing a hose drill where we practice aiming water at our witches' hats. do have two specialist appliance at the station. We have the ladder truck and we also have the heavy rescue. So kids, this is our Bronto, our ladder truck, and we use this ladder to reach people that are in need in high-rise buildings. It doesn't have to be fires, it can be any sort of rescue, storm damage, you name it. It's a good piece of equipment that firefighters have because we can fight fire in high-rise buildings as well. So we respond to all different types of rescues around Sydney, and yeah, it's a specialist appliance. So we've seen the engine bays where the fire trucks are now, but now we are in the museum part of the station. 1887, this station was founded. There's a lot of history, as you see here, different uniforms that we've worn over the last 130 years. It's very old school. This is what we currently wear now. We also have a really active history with the Anzacs. A lot of servicemen that returned from the wars become firefighters. And we have a memorial for all the names that gave their lives in the Great Wars. Cool, so this is where the firefighters keep their stay going. You've got Firefighter Jenkins here looking over the current fire reports. Hey kids! It's very important for firefighters to stay fit and healthy. We're very lucky here in the city that we have a nice big gym. We also have a big gymnasium, big open court for us to do all different sorts of activities. But yeah, it keeps us fit and strong. Alright, so kids, at the start of a shift, this is where I keep my gear. We have our turnouts, our boots, our helmet. We grab it here and we place it near the truck so we can respond quickly, get dressed quickly and get out the door. So yeah, this is where all our gear's kept. So this is our watch room. We've got Firefighter King and we've got Firefighter Hall over here. And they're just going to show you how the watch room works.
This is the watch room computer. All the calls will come through here and it'll be displayed on the screen. Also our watch board up here will be illuminated. You'll be able to see which trucks are responding. And also the printout will come out of this printer here and you'll be able to give that to the driver of the truck.
We've also got a PA system or a speaker system that we can talk to all the firefighters on the station through. Flyer and the runner, you have an AFA to Town Hall Railway Station. We have keys and we have lights.
So when the bells go off and we're in different levels of the building, we use our fire poles to get down to the bottom floor for us to get ready, jump in the trucks and respond. So this is one of many poles here at the City of Sydney Fire Station. Hey kids! So that concludes the talk. We've got to go for a call. Hope you all get better soon. All the best, guys. See you next year. Go, okay, brother.
We are Fire and Rescue New South Wales, and we are prepared for anything.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Futrell, Deputy Commissioner at Fire and Rescue New South Wales. Fire and Rescue New South Wales is one of the world's largest urban fire and rescue services and is the busiest in Australia. We provide rapid, reliable help in emergencies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we educate the community to help prevent incidents from happening. Fire and Rescue New South Wales has been supporting the Children's Hospital at Westmead for more than 30 years now through payroll deductions and other fundraising activities such as the 404 annual charity bike ride. In fact, the playground within the Burns unit is affectionately and officially known as our number 2 fire station. As firefighters, we unfortunately see firsthand the devastating effects that incidents such as fires and car crashes can have on our community, but especially children. Our staff wanted a way to continue to assist the recovery of injured children and contribute to this beyond the scene of the emergency incident. Emergency incidents involving injuries to children have a big impact on our firefighters, and this is particularly the case where children suffer burns. By supporting the Children's Hospital Westmead, we contribute to providing the best possible treatment and recovery for these children. The stories of the children in the burns unit serve as a powerful reminder to all of us at Fire and Rescue New South Wales why our work with the community on fire safety and fire prevention is so important. We love lending our support to the Children's Hospital Westmead and wish you all the best. Visits to the burns unit have been a regular part of our activities, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon once it is safe to do so.
So on an estimate that the eye clinic sees between 8,000 and 10,000 children a year. Children in themselves are just innocent and playful, so I like making my testing more like a game. I'm Katie Gearing and I'm the head orthoptist at the Children's Hospital Westmead. My passion is childhood vision impairment and preventing vision loss in children. So working at the Children's Hospital is a great privilege, and I've had the experience and the privilege of working really close with families and patients. I've got quite a number of stories that I can sort of share with you because they've all meant so much to me. Being able to preserve and restore vision in a child is a gift that I'm really lucky to be involved in. We've had children referred by the STEPS program, which is the statewide eye screening program, where a child is screened at school, and if they fail, they're referred to us. We also have a series of children, a lot of children, maybe 10 to 12 children a year diagnosed with congenital cataract. And these are babies who are born to a healthy family, and at 6 weeks of age, when they see their GP, they're diagnosed with a cataract. These children then embark on a journey to restore vision, and it's a really tough journey. They need to have a contact lens fitted, which we're involved in. So we help the parents put a contact lens in their 6-week-old, which is really challenging, but it's really rewarding. There's nothing like putting contact lenses in a child who hasn't been able to see, and they're seeing their mum's face for the first time. I think that's something I'll never forget, where the mum literally cried because the baby could all of a sudden focus on her face. And for me, I've been able to give the gift of sight and be part of that. So it's a really special team that we have here at the Kids Hospital. The thing with working in the eye clinic is we see children from all departments throughout the hospital. So kids with cancer need an eye check, children with cystic fibrosis need an eye check, children who are born prematurely have an eye check. So I think even though we are a standalone clinic, we do formulate an important diagnosis with neurology and lots of other departments so that they can't do their treatment unless we're able to check the eyes. Children with autism all get referred for an eye test as well. Children who have any form of deafness, they have an eye check. So that's how we're able to make up the 10,000 children that we see per year. So it's kind of a wide range. It's not just children requiring glasses. We're sort of the next level of children with cerebral palsy and spina bifida. They all come for an eye assessment because the eyes tell you so much information about neurological development, as well as ruling out other systemic conditions. We also like to raise money for new equipment because we're aware that working in a public hospital, you can't just get new equipment. And we like the collaboration with the family and the community. So it's a real team event.
All right, there we go. The latest tally update is in. Have a look. Big round of applause. Thank you to everyone who has donated to our Radiothon appeal so far. Every donation until 6 o'clock tonight is actually going to be doubled by our wonderful matches. So to donate, call 1-800-770-122, or you can head to radiothon.org.au. Don't forget, all donations of $50 or more will automatically go into the draw to win a complete set of 24 Little Treehouse books. They're signed by author Andy Griffiths. He's a legend. If you haven't heard of them, ask your kids. They'll tell you all about it. They are absolutely fantastic. Well, next up, Andrew and Ramani. They are the heads of the Anesthesia department, and they provide care for more than 14,000 children every year, ensuring that each one of them is kept comfortable and safe during and after their procedure. I spoke to the doctors in between shifts.
So it turns out that October 16, in addition to being a day that we're hanging out at the hospital, is National Anesthesia Day. And really kind of World Anesthesia Day.
Wow, so it's a day to be celebrated the world over, which is very appropriate then that we're speaking to both of you. Can I ask you then, Ramani, I might put this one to you, to explain a little bit about what you do. Essentially, tell me what you do in your job.
Not everybody's aware that anaesthetists, apart from just looking after people when they're asleep, also have lots of roles helping out other teams throughout the hospitals with emergency cases, keeping, in our case, kids, because we work in a kids hospital, comfortable after their operation. It's all about the kids. The kids are the best. That's why we're all here.
Oh, absolutely. Either learning something from one of the kids or getting a reality check from one of the kids. Frequently it is very much the case that you see kids and families go through just extraordinary things. And we, of course, only get a relatively short period of time, but what that does mean is that it's a very intense time, because most people who turn up for their operation, as you've alluded to, it's a big day for them. And so to get to be there with them through that, try and make that a better experience, really is a very nice way to turn up to work each day. Because ultimately we pretty much get to turn up to work most days and try and get kids to laugh themselves to sleep, which is a pretty sweet gig.
That's a lovely way to word it. Laugh themselves to sleep. Could either of you or both of you explain to me the importance of Radiothon?
One of the nice things about working in a place that's part of a community is that events like Radiothon effectively give the whole community a chance to be part of the team. When a donor donates even whatever tiny amount they can, what we can use that for is all the stuff that lets us do our job and utilise our training. So as much as the kids are often quite small, the technology that we have to use to look after them tends to be quite big and quite often expensive. And all of those bits of technology, it turns out they come with a price tag. So Radiothon and the ability to raise money to get the absolute best equipment for the patients we look after, really is just a vital contribution that people give to us.
Yeah, well, I know that every single donor who contributes to the hospital, I hope they hear those words that you just said. Very, very powerful, very significant and important. So thank you so much. I know you guys are busy. I don't want to take you out of the system for too long to chat, but thanks.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful thing that people have been part of. And we hope obviously that the whole Radiothon day goes spectacularly well.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Maria, this is Kent, and this is Bossy, and we're from Alpaca Kisses.
And we're supporting this year's Radiothon virtual event,
which raises money for sick kids
at the Children's Hospital at Westmead.
And we're asking for your support too. This is Chai, and Chai's been to the Westmead Children's Hospital before. You had a lovely time meeting all the children, didn't you, Chai? This is Delilah, and she's one of our new babies, and she's really looking forward to coming to the Children's Hospital.
And if you can, donate at www.radiothon.org.au.
That would be fantastic.
Hey guys, it's Bill Thomas from Hyundai Motor Company Australia. Just wishing the Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation all the best with Radiothon 2020. Go for it. We're right behind you. Just to say a particular shout out to the Sydney Children's Hospital at Westmead, also the Epic Lab, and also to Bear Cottage. We've supported you guys to the tune of around $1 million over the last few years, but that pales into insignificance next to the billions and billions of dollars worth of work you guys do for children in this city. So thanks again, good luck with Radiothon 2020, and all the best from Hyundai. Cheers.
Now, a big thank you on behalf of everyone at the hospital to Hyundai Help for Kids. Your donation today is truly appreciated. And thank you to ACO Australia for your donation today.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm David Mantle. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of duly selected Catholic Club group of clubs in Sydney's Central West. We have 3 clubs. We've been an enormous supporter of the hospital at Westmead for many, many years. In the last 5 years, we've provided in excess of $1 million worth of support for the hospital and the wonderful work that they do. We have gifted the hospital $200,000, and we're urging you to try and match us dollar for dollar with some grants. We appreciate in these tough times with COVID that everybody's doing it a bit tough, but in particular charitable organisations are doing it really tough. So please don't forget the needs that are out there. We've gifted, as we mentioned, $200,000 to the hospital, clubs, businesses out there. Please, irrespective of how you're doing at the moment, please realise what a worthwhile cause it is there, the incredible work that the hospital does for the community of Sydney, New South Wales. No matter how much we give, it's never enough. So please dig deep. Please match our support and a challenge to any club out there. Beat us, have a crack at trying to put more than 200,000 out there. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and please support such an incredible cause.
And a big shout out to Dooley's Lidcombe Catholic Club for being our matcher today on Radiothon Day. Now, I'd like to introduce you to a boy named Luke Harper. Luke is an ex-patient of the hospital and an avid writer. He won the 2018 National Child Rights Competition, and he was mentored by Emma McTaggart last year to create his very first children's picture book titled Pigeons and Popcorn. Luke has generously offered all sales from pigeons and popcorn to go towards the Children's Hospital at Westmead. So a very big thank you. Head to radiothon.org.au to purchase a copy of Pigeons and Popcorn, all the money going towards Radiothon. So thank you to Luke for his creativity and for his generosity.
This is Jimmy. Jimmy is the leader of his pigeon friends, a gang called the Flock. Meet Alan, Egghead, Zango and Ozzy. Usually the Flock have a good time together, but today they are having a bad day. You see, it all started with a huge storm. The Flock had hidden their sacred piece of popcorn on top of a garbage bin, and it blew away in a massive gust of wind. Jimmy took control. He knew he had to lead the Flock on a search mission. And quick as a flash, they found the popcorn caught in a piece of string. Just as they rushed over, they heard a loud screech. It was an enormous eagle. It swooped down and stole the popcorn. The pigeons stood in shock as their popcorn drifted away in the eagle's beak. "How will we get our popcorn back now?" cried Zango. "Follow me, everyone," yelled Jimmy. "We can fly." And off they flew, chasing the eagle, totally focused on their popcorn, when, all of a sudden... Ooh! Seeds! The pigeons settled down and munched up all the seeds. They sat around feeling pretty good about themselves. "Seeds are nearly as good as popcorn," said Alan. "Oh no, the sacred popcorn." Just as they started to argue about who forgot about the search for the popcorn, Jimmy pointed and said, "Guys, look, the eagles left us a trail to follow." It didn't take long for the pigeons to find the eagle guarding his thorny nest. "Remember that the sacred popcorn is really greasy and buttery and yummy. You shouldn't be able to miss it," said Jimmy. And with that, Jimmy flew in the opposite direction to distract the eagle so the rest of the flock could check the nest for the popcorn. The flock searched the nest high and low. Crack! Alan stepped on an egg. The eagle whipped around and swooped down towards them. There was something in his beak, the sacred popcorn. The pigeons panicked at the sight of the big mean eagle heading towards them. They burrowed deep down into the nest and found a hole at the bottom. One by one they crawled through the hole to safety, but Ozzy got stuck. Jimmy came flying to the rescue, shooting into the eagle's stomach like a bullet. Woof! The eagle dropped the popcorn. And the flock flew home, promising each other they would never lose the popcorn again. Except maybe when there are seeds around.
This is WWE champion Drew McIntyre. Now we're supporting this year's Radiothon virtual event to raise funds for sick kids at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. I'm asking for your support too. If you can, please donate at www.radiothon.org.au. Your funds will go a long way to helping sick kids live their healthiest lives. Thank you so much for your support of Radiothon 2020.
Our next guest is one of Australia's most popular children's authors. Andy Griffiths, along with his illustrator, Terry Denton, have sold over 10 million books. They've won 80 Children's Choice Awards and 10 Australian Book Industry Awards. I sat down with Andy to chat about where his love for books first originated and how he develops his ideas and his concepts. And as a real treat for us, Andy will do a live reading of Barky, the Barking Dog.
Well, thank you very much, Andy, for your time. So I am looking behind you at the most impressive bookshelf I think I've seen. What's in the mix? What does Andy Griffiths read?
Well, I'd have to correct you there. That's mostly music. That's a CD collection. Music is really important to me. I've always loved music from a very, very young age, right along with books. And the music gives me a feeling, and I love listening to way out, crazy, experimental, punk, new wave, whatever is breaking down the barriers of what you might expect music to be. I find that very exciting, and I want to take that feeling of energy and experimentation and what sounds can we make, what ideas can we think up. And I want to write stories that reflect that and radiate that type of energy. And then the books that I love form the same role. So I want to take that type of feeling of expansive fun and put that in the stories as well. And that's why I'm surrounded by music when I'm writing.
Having said all of that, why is storytelling so precious? Why is it so important to you?
Look, I think stories are just part of us. It's what we tell ourselves to get through the day. It's what we tell other people about what's been happening to us. They can be big, life-changing event type stories, or they can be tiny ones, how I had a battle with a little fly.
I'm sure there's lots of kids listening to this that are so excited how you do it and how it forms, and budding authors. Have you got any advice for them? Young kids who were the young Andy at the age of 6 writing stories.
Well, reading is like the fuel which you're putting into your petrol tank. You're filling up your brain with ideas. The more you can read, the more you'll have to play with. So you need that input. It can come from other places too. And then the other thing you'll need is a little exercise book, just a cheap one. And this is your private writing journal where you can just put down ideas, you can draw pictures, You can write down a joke that made you laugh, write down something your teacher said or did, write down a dumb thing your mum or dad did. It's not for them necessarily to see, it's just what's called a writer's journal. It's not a diary. You don't have to write there every day what you did and what you ate. You can write about what you didn't eat. You know, you can make this up. Anything that excites you, you collect in this book. And what that does gives you a store of ideas, but also the practice of writing, which is just like anything else, a skill that you get better at when you practice. You don't have to stay true. You can just start, you can use a real incident and then start making it up. But it all happens in this little practice book. You know, there's nothing like a story, particularly if you've shared the story, where you talk about the story, but then you very quickly leave the story and start just talking about the ideas underneath the story. And you'll be saying, oh, yeah, that's like the time when this happened to me. And the other person can say, oh yeah, I was there, I remember that, but I saw it like this, and I thought at the time. So you're explaining the world to yourself and to another person, and finding those shared memories can be a really rich, fulfilling activity in itself. Which leads to greater understanding. It can do, or it just leads to the sheer pleasure of remembering things and enjoying that memory and the time that you had.
Normally, Radiothon's quite different than what we're doing this year, and doing it online from your CD toy room and my lounge. And we would have you read to the kids. So I know that this year we can't do it in person, but we can certainly make sure that they get a story from the fabulous Andy Griffiths. So I'm going to wrap up and say thank you, but you're going to read for us Barky the Barking Dog. Is that one you've chosen today?
Yes, for some reason it's one of the readers, well, it's Terry's favourite story, and it's the readers love this story. I find it really annoying, but I'm going to be nice and I'm going to read it.
Thanks, oh, good. Wonderful. Well, lovely to chat, and thank you very much. And I will, I'll hand it to you to Andy. Thanks so much. Nice
Thank
to
you
chat.
very much. Yeah, thanks. See ya. So this is Barky the Barking Dog, the book that you all love and I hate. All right. Barky barks all day. That's Barky barking all day. Barky barks all night. That's him barking all night. He barks and barks with all his might. His bark is much worse than his bite. He's Barky the Barking Dog. Bark! He barks at the ground. He barks at the sky. He barks at a butterfly flying by. He barks at a bird. He barks at a rose. He barks at a gorilla's big hairy toes. Bark! How to bark is all he knows, because he's Barky the Barking Dog. He barks at a cat. He barks at a shark. He barks in the street. He barks in the park. All he does is bark, bark, bark. And that's him. Bark, 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 bark. Perhaps you know a dog like that. Barky barks up. Barky barks down. He's the barkingest barking dog in town. He barks at a hole. He barks at a tree. He barks at Buzzy, the busy buzzing bee. He even barks at Terry and me. And if you met Barky, do you know what he would do? Well, I'll tell you. He would bark and bark and bark at you. And there's you being barked at by Barky the Barking Dog. Bark!
All right, let's have a look at our tally. This is always the exciting moment, isn't it? Look at those numbers. Thank you to everyone who has donated to our Radiothon appeal so far. Every donation until 6 o'clock tonight is being doubled by our wonderful matches. So donate on the number 1800 770 122, or you can head to radiothon.org.au. And don't forget, all donations of $50 or more will automatically go into the draw to win a complete set of 24 Little Treehouse books signed by author Andy Griffiths. How fantastic was Andy?
Hi, I'm Graham Ragg. I'm the Managing Director of Western Earthmoving. We're a civil contracting and construction business based at Seven Hills in Western Sydney. You know, in our history, we've been supported by Western Sydney people. That's our basis. We've built a lot of Western Sydney, and so many of our people live there. We've always got some staff member who's got a kid getting treated at Westmead one way or another. So we see it as really important that we try to add some fundraising and certainly friend-raising activities to contribute to a better outcome in that area. And so far we've been able to do that, and we're going to continue that way. Look, good luck again next year. I know this Radiothon at the moment's been a fantastic success, done under difficulty. A lot of things happening under difficulty in hospitals. COVID's made it pretty tricky this year, but you know, we've demonstrated we want to be involved 100%. We're going to continue to be next year. And for those watching this, I just want to encourage you, dig deep for sure, but dig deep to get involved is the bigger thing. Make sure that you can spread the word. Tell your teams that it's really, really worthwhile. Very valuable opportunity. Looking ahead with the foundation, we're going to be part of a group looking at doing something a little bit different with construction and trade people for next year. That's going to happen in March. I won't spoil the story, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a very, very exciting ride, so stay tuned. Thanks.
Now, matching your donations today is Western Earthmoving. Western Earthmoving is a family-owned and operated business that has donated to the Children's Hospital at Westmead since 1990. That is amazing. So very big thank you to Western Earthmoving for your generous support. Now, our next guest is no stranger to Radiothon. She was the 2017 Radiothon ambassador. 14-year-old Anisa has endured cancer twice. It's been a really long, tough battle, and I caught up with Anisa and her dad about her time in hospital and how she's doing now.
A little bit about your story. So you first came to the Children's Hospital when you were 1, and then in 2017 you weren't feeling the best again and you went back to the hospital. So I'm sure there's some stronger memories of that time. Can you tell me that?
So it happened in April 2017, and I had osteosarcoma, bone cancer, in my right thigh, and it was a pretty rough thing because I was just like going through that like puberty stage and just at the start of year 6, and it was and then I was put in the hospital for treatment for 9 months, and I finished up in December. So yeah.
Well, pretty rough, you say. I think that's kind of the understatement of the day. My gosh.
Yeah.
Am I right here that you had something like 20 rounds of chemotherapy?
Yeah, somewhat around maybe 30, I reckon, or 21.
And after that grueling year of treatment, you got to ring the bell. So for anyone who doesn't understand, tell me, what does it mean? What's the significance of ringing the bell?
So a person rings the bell when they're officially done with all their treatment and they officially are cancer-free. And it's very memorable because it's like one of the most important parts of like recovery and treatment, and it's one of the best things to look forward to. Yeah.
Tell me, back in 2017, you were ambassador for Radiothon.
Yeah.
What did that entail? So what was the year like? Tell me you were treated like royalty.
Pretty much like that. Everybody was just so nice and like they were all comforting, and I never felt like left out. I didn't really do like anything too special, but somewhat here and there I was able to go to Radiothon. So I just strolled around, did some of the activities and everything.
Amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the staff that you met, some of the people in the hospital who became friends?
Sweetest. Oh my gosh, they were so nice and they were so comforting and they were so like friendly, and somewhat we even played games with a few. Like it was just overall it was good.
And Dr. Stuart Kelly, hats off to him. He's been with us through thick and thin and he was a really big support.
Yeah.
And of course all the staff, right from the receptionist to Donna to all the nurses. I can name all, but it'll be very less. And of course you guys who were there always coming in, smiling and giving us support.
Well, look at your beautiful princess now, and the fight was all worth it, clearly, and she is with you and happy and healthy, and
She's like an inspiration to us as well.
Yes, you take care. Thank you for talking with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for your time. Thank you.
Hi, it's Labby from Western Sydney Wanderers. We are supporting this year's Radiothon virtual event and raising funds for the sick kids. I'm asking for you to support too. If you can, please donate at www.radiothon.org.au. Your funds will go a long way for helping the kids live their healthiest lives. Thank you so much for your support at Radiothon 2020.
Hi, it's Daniel Wilmering from the Western Sydney Wanderers. We are supporting this year's Radiothon virtual events and raising funds for sick kids at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. I'm asking for your support too. If you can, please donate at www.radiothon.org.au. Your funds will go a very long way in helping sick kids live their healthiest lives. Thank you so much for your support of Radiothon 2020.
Hi guys, Nathan Brown here from the Parramatta Eels. This year we're supporting Radiothon. If you could please donate to radiothon.org.au, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Ryan Madison here from the Parramatta Eels. Just want to say we're getting behind Radiothon this year, and it's to help Westmead's Children's Hospital and all the sick kids. So can you please donate to radiothon.org.au? It would be very muchly appreciated.
Hi everyone, Wonga Blake here from the Parramatta Eels. We're supporting this year's Radiothon. If you could head over to www.radiothon.org.au, your support would be much appreciated. Thank you.
You can clap your hands and you can say thanks to the doctors. Thank you, doctors. You can clap your hands and you can say thanks to the doctors. Thank you, doctors. You can listen to the stethoscope and get some medicine for your throat. They've got everything that you'll ever need to get better. To get better. Oh, thank you, doctors. Thank you, doctors.
You can clap your hands and you can say thanks to the nurses.
Thank you, nurses.
You can clap your hands and you can say thanks to the nurses.
Thank you, nurses.
You can listen to the stethoscope and get some medicine for your throat. They've got everything that you'll ever need to get better.
To get better.
Thank you, nurses.
Thank you, nurses.
You can listen to the stethoscope and get the medicine for your throat. They've got everything that you'll ever need to get better.
To get better.
Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, nurses.
Thank you, nurses.
Healthcare workers. Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, nurses.
Thank you, nurses.
Healthcare workers.
Healthcare workers.
Thank you, doctors.
Working with the Sydney Children's Hospital has opened up our staff's eyes to the trials that face sick children and their families. We have a renewed sense of appreciation for the children, healthcare workers and the greater medical and support communities. We sense a stronger team spirit and we hope that collectively we can be an example to other small to medium businesses to get involved and contribute to make a real difference. We have been supporting the Sydney Children's Hospital for around 5 years now, and each year we strive to achieve more so that we can increase our donations as we've seen what donated funds can do to make a difference. We incorporate our success with our donations and can honestly say that it has been an empowering and inspiring journey. We decided to begin donating to the Sydney Children's Hospital after seeing the amazing work they achieve and the difference they make to each and every child and their family. I think what they do is truly inspiring, and it inspires us to do more so that we can help even more. There is nothing greater in this world than the ability to give, and what better place to do that than by helping these amazing and these strong kids.
Hi, it's Ashley from Firas Financial Services. We're supporting this year's Radiothon virtual event at raising funds for sick kids at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. I'm asking for your support too. If you can, please donate at www.radiothon.org.au. Your funds will go a long way to helping sick kids live their healthiest lives. Thank you so much for your support of Radiothon 2020.
Well, another one of our matches today is Firas Financial Services. So thank you for supporting the hospital since 2016. We really appreciate your generosity. Thank you to Endeavour Energy for your generous donation to Radiothon today and supporting the Children's Hospital at Westmead since 2016.
So we use the ultrasound machine a lot in liver transplant because when we hook the liver up, there are lots of blood vessels that we have to hook up, and we have to ensure that the blood vessels remain open and patent and allows the blood to go in and out of the liver, and also allows us to see with the collections in the abdomen and things like that. What a mobile ultrasound machine helps us to do as surgeons is to, once we hook the liver up, check in theatre whether the flows are good, whether the vessels are open. If we have a problem, we can pick it up early. We also use it in the ICU. When we're a little worried, we can do it quickly before the formal ultrasound is done. So we use it very frequently on every liver transplant patient, so it's always there in theatre when we do a liver transplant. So it's critically important because in the public system, it's difficult to get equipment through the public hospitals because there's only a limited amount of money. But if we want to get the results that we are aiming to achieve, which is actually world standard or even right on top of the world, we need the technology to assist us. We can't afford it. The public hospitals often can't afford it. Fundraising events helps us to get the equipment fairly soon and bring in those changes, those incremental changes that make results much better. So what we found over the years is that with all these things that have come in, the results have improved substantially. Many of these things that we have acquired have gone into publications as advancements in care. So I think this has really helped us provide exceptionally good care for children who need liver transplants especially.
Hello, my name is Catherine Cox and I'm the Chief Executive of the Sydney Children's Hospitals Network. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who supported our virtual Radiothon this year. The generosity and contributions from all of you will make sure that sick children continue to receive the best care that we can offer. I'd like to thank you all for your generosity and fundraising for us today.
Hi everyone, it's Cap here. Thank you for joining us for Radiothon 2020. Each and every day, everyone at the Children's Hospital at Westmead is working incredibly hard. The doctors, the nurses, the support staff, children and their families. They really do have the weight of the world on their shoulders. And the weight of the world, it's quite a heavy lift when you've got to do it by yourself. That's why we're asking you all to dig deep so we can get a new personal best for fundraising this year. Because even in the weight of the world, isn't that heavy. When you don't have to lift it alone. Thanks, team. Now it's your turn to help doing some heavy lifting as well. You can donate today by, how can they donate, Iron Man?
They can go to www.radiothon.org.au.
Is that on the internet?
It certainly is.
Look, I'm not really up to speed on the internet. Is there anywhere else they can donate, Supergirl?
Oh, actually, you can also call 1-800-770-122.
It's more my speed. Thank you, guys. And thank you all at home.
Ferguson here. I hope you have all enjoyed watching the first ever Radiothon virtual event. There is still 30 minutes to go for any last donations, and don't forget all donations are doubled. To donate, call 1800 770 122 or head to www.radiothon.org.au. And you can join 7 News tonight at 6 as we announce the final tally update for Radiothon Appeal 2020.
Well, thank you for joining us for the Children's Hospital at Westmead's Radiothon Appeal. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know all of the staff and some patients, their families and their supporters. It is a very, very special place. A big thank you to our sponsors and our matchers, our supporters, all of our special guests, and to Sydney City Studio for hosting us. How good was this? Our very first time ever online, the perfect setup. So thank you guys for having us. Now those fabulous books, the 24 Little Treehouse books, all signed by Andy Griffiths, they'll be announced on the Children's Hospital at Westmead's Facebook page. So if you were in the draw, that's where you check out to see if you've won it. Imagine, like, Christmas is so sorted. But thank you above all for being so generous. I know this year's been very tough for everyone, so the fact that you continue to support the hospital means so much to all of us. Thank you for caring. I'm Melissa Doyle, and on behalf of everybody at the Children's Hospital Westmead, thank you. Have a wonderful night.